Hey everyone, Jeff here, and welcome to another Elder Scrolls Legends gameplay video. This video is kind of the successor to the series, the Let's Play series I just did of the Forgotten Hero storyline. At the conclusion of those videos, I said that I was very excited about jumping into a solo arena run and experimenting with that mode of the game. I do want to play against other people, to be honest with you, but I haven't clicked anywhere else. I had to cut off the last video, and this is the first time I'm back in the game. And we're going to be doing a solo arena run. I have no idea what this is. In the last video, I hypothesized that you just had to, it says create a deck on the fly, so I hypothesized that you just had to create a deck out of a pool of cards and you know, then battle AI opponents with the cards, and there was probably a sample that they limited you to. That way you couldn't just pick a ton of legendaries and all this other stuff. So I'm going to do a solo arena, walk you through my decisions, of course narrate the gameplay, and experience this gameplay mode for the first time in the Elder Scrolls Legends. So you get to see this firsthand. What I think of the arena mode, and let's see how it goes. I have no idea what to expect. Let's do it and have a good time.
In the arena, you set aside your collection to battle using an army of cards you recruit. Use your arena ticket to enter your first arena.
Did they say use your arena ticket to enter your first arena? These subtitles, man. Pfft, come on now. Alright, so does that mean that this is a draft? Because that sounds cool. Alright, let's use our event ticket. Sure. Alright, I like it.
To play during this arena.
Okay, so we have... So this is interesting, right? Because I haven't played the warrior class at all. I haven't played the Battlemage class at all. We started out with the Crusader class, and I really liked it. So do I go with something that I know I enjoyed in the storyline, or do I pick something totally different? I think I picked something totally different. Battlemage or warrior? They both have red. I used the purple in Alduin's Apocalypse, and it was sort of the support color, right? The yellow guards and removal. That was kind of the core, if you will, and then the purple was the support. And then this has blue. And if anyone watched any of my other 3 videos, or my other 4, I don't know how many it's been, you'll know I really like blue. So I think maybe we take Battlemage. It's a class we haven't played yet. It's a class I haven't played yet.
Presenting Battlemage.
My concern about playing red, and all 3 of these options have red, so it's unavoidable here, is that we're going to be pigeonholed into some type of aggressive strategy, and in those strategies my gameplay may suffer because it's typically not what I enjoy, and it's not really what I'm used to playing. So could be really interesting if that's what it is. So let's see.
Pick a card to add to your deck.
Pick a card to add to our deck. Okay, so we have 1 of 3. And then we get to do this 30 times. Okay. So this draft could take forever. Let's try to get through it. So we have, when Dragonstar Rider equips an item, draw a card. Well, I like drawing cards, but the problem is if we don't draft any items. Now we're doing a draft. So if we take a card like this and it's a 1 of, then we need to not only draw it, but we also need to have other cards in the deck to support running this card. And that doesn't seem great. So I think that this is probably a trap card here where it looks better than it is because you need an engine to make it work. Grotwood Ambusher, it's a 4/2 with Prophecy, which I really like. I probably am going to take a majority of Prophecy cards that I see, just because I seem to like them so much. I don't know if that's right, but it does seem smart, because again, if you're playing against an AI opponent and they're not thinking about, like, I don't know if the part of the algorithm is that they factor in, you know, prophecy percentages or anything like that. Who knows how the programming works, but the mechanic is so strong. Summon, deal 1 damage to all enemy creatures in this lane. So you might be able to clear some creatures out, and if not, you at least weaken them. And then this is 3 for a 2/5, which is fine. Breakthrough, when this takes damage, he gains +2/+0. And we saw this, but I don't know. I kind of am leaning towards the Prophecy card. I think that maybe this could be the smarter pick, and this is kind of just the gut Prophecy pick, but...
And continue picking until you've made your deck.
Sweet. So something to consider in drafting, and this is, again, sort of just taking over prior experience from other card formats, is your mana curve. You could have a ton of amazing 5 and 6 drops, but if you don't have anything to start the game off, you just lose. It's kind of like trying to drive a stick and starting in 3rd or 4th gear, right? It doesn't work. You'll stall, and your gear ratios don't allow you to do that. So we want to fill up our early curve nicely, because if we ended up with mostly like two 3s and some 4s, and then like a handful of outlier 5, 6, and 7 plus cards, we most likely would be okay. When you summon a dragon, go see Lookout gains a ward. So again, this is super conditional, and we're going to try not to take conditional cards, because conditional cards are not cards. You want to take cards that are just independently good on their own. Every once in a while you can do something cool, like maybe we draft a couple dragons and then this becomes a really great trader, but we don't know that that's going to happen. And so this is that treasure hunt mechanic that we don't really know anything about. Draw each of the listed treasures to receive a one-time bonus. Treasures can only be found on your turn. So treasure hunt item, give the item 1/1. So I suppose that means that if this card is in your hand, if you have this card and then you also draw an item, the item gets 1/1. So, you know, maybe passing up that last pick, the item horse, was bad, because there may be some item synergy in this draft. And then this is deal 3 damage to a creature and all enemy creatures with the same name. So this is just a removal spell. So do we want the good 2-drop or the removal spell? Like, good 2-drops are kind of hard to come by, but also removal may be kind of hard to come by. And I think we'll probably have more opportunities for 2-drops than removal. So I think the pick here is removal, and we just look for 2-drops down the line. Deal 2 damage to a creature for 3. Fire Breath, it's a shout. Wow, this is something I haven't seen yet. Deal 4 damage to a creature, and then deal 3 damage. When you play a shout, all your other copies are upgraded. Oh my god, that's insane. So this is really cool. This is definitely a call to Skyrim, and you know, the shout element of that game. That said, unless we get more than one of these, 3 to do 2 damage is pretty bad. 0 for a 1/1 with charge. I talked about how great I think this card is. I think it's one of those cards that you kind of need to break for it to be good. Like, independently, just having a 0 cost 1/1 in my deck doesn't seem great. And this is Factotum. Assembled Sentry, Factotum, Assemble, +0, +2, or Guard. So assemble, choose a bonus to give to this creature and all Factotums in your hand and deck. So if we draft a lot of Factotums, we could get a lot of synergy with this. But just playing a 2 that becomes a 1/3, or maybe guarding damage, seems like it could be okay on its own. Glass Helm of Remedy, summon, you gain 4 life. A 0/3 guard for 0 doesn't seem great. And then Rehad Horseman, +3, +0, and breakthrough while equipped with an item. Otherwise, we just get a vanilla 2/2. But right now, that may be okay, because I don't want to give up on opportunities to take early creatures. Dark Rebirth, sacrifice a creature to summon a copy of it. This card, it really only seems good with enter the battlefield effects. We don't have any enter the battle. Oh, we have this summon effect. So we have one. So taking a card that we can only link with one other card is pretty bad. We have another opportunity for Relic Hunter. Mystic Dragon. It's a 4/4 with Prophecy. Again, I don't have a 4-drop yet, and this Prophecy seems great. Like, if I just play a vanilla 4/4, that seems kind of bad versus a 3/2 on turn 2. But if I get this for free, that just seems too good to pass up. I might be putting too much emphasis on the prophecy mechanic. If anyone watches this whole video and would like to comment on that, by all means, feel free. So, 3, summon, deal 2 damage to your opponent, the super aggressive card. I already commented on this in another video. Dwarven Sphere. 2/3, summon, shackle an enemy creature. Tempo cards like this I really like. Or a 4-drop, 3/5 that kind of does nothing. And like I said before, again in a previous video, cards that do something are better than cards that do nothing. So by a general rule of thumb, we probably want to rule out a card that does nothing. So the pick is between these two cards, and I like the tempo play over the aggressive play. Alright, so here we have an item, and we are starting to see a little bit of synergy in this draft where maybe we do want to be considering item play. Like if we were to equip this, it would be a 8/0 with breakthrough. Like that could just be a finisher, right? That being said, we don't have a ton of synergy with items yet, and I think that taking something like taking an item in the 2-drop spot that we're not sure how it's going to perform, I don't think is as good as taking something that can cycle us, get us deeper into our deck. And I don't think Dark Rebirth is good yet until we have something else to synergize with it. Alright, Savage Ogre. It's a 7 for 5/5. Summon, give a creature +5/+0 this turn. So this comes down on turn 7 and is a finisher, right? Because you play this on turn 7, you give something +5/+0, maybe close out the game. This is massive combat math tricks right here. This is Ulfric Zealot, a 5/2. Last gasp, put a heavy battle axe into your hand, and that is a +4/+1 item for 4. So that is really cool, because this card for 4 could potentially generate 9/3 worth of total power and toughness for 4. That's excellent. And then Quicksilver Crossbow, +1/+1, summon the wielder, deals 1 damage. It's okay as a ping effect. I kind of like the idea of having some reach in the deck, because I don't know if this runs that really. So I think we'll take the high pick and go from there. Moment of Clarity. Reveal 3 random cards, then choose 1 to draw. So here's the thing about this, and I haven't even looked at these other 2 cards yet. But cards like this are trap cards. And the reason I say that is because would you rather have this card in your deck that might turn into something good, or would you rather just have a card in your deck that already is something good, right? So the other thing about this is that it's kind of a tempo loss, because if you play this on turn 2, whatever you drew with this, you can't play. But if you were to play just a card on turn 2, like this for instance, you just have a 2/2 out. So this is a tempo loss. And it's not as good as just like, hey, I have a card that I want to play, let me play that instead. So this is out. This is a trap card for anyone watching. At least, alright, my opinion is that this is a trap card. I don't want to sound too authoritative without knowing. Maybe this card actually is the the bomb, and I just have no clue. Lumbering Ogre, 4 for a 7/4, can gain cover. Okay, but that's fine because you get a 7/4 for 4. Pretty great. And Conjuration Tutor, 6 for a 3/3, which is not good. Summon, shuffle 3 Lava Atronachs into your deck. When you summon an Atronach, summon a copy of it in the other lane. And a Lava Atronach is an 8/8, breakthrough, guard, ward for 7. Yeah. We'll take that. Ice Spike, another one of those. Not sure if we want a second one. Crushing Blow, another piece of removal. All we really have for that so far is Reverberating Strike. So I think we'll take a second piece of removal. This is Prophecy, which again I probably overemphasized that mechanic. Guard summon all Gearwork Spiders in your discard pile. Okay, so if you have 3 of these in a deck and 2 are dead and you play this one, you get a 3-for-1, but it's still only a 1/1, and I think having another piece of what I consider to be pretty great removal is probably where we want to be. Alright, well, this card I played in the Forgotten Hero storyline. Tempo plays are huge. Because if somebody top decks something on turn 6 that's like a 6-drop, or and they play that and take their whole turn to play it, and you cast it out, it puts them back an entire turn. And it has Prophecy. And then they have to take probably their whole next turn to play it again. So unsummon effects are interesting because it's not a permanent solution, it's a temporary solution, so you have to put it in a tempo deck. So are we building a tempo deck? We have some removal, some shackle, some removal. I think we're building sort of a mid-range tempo deck, so this might be the play. Breakthrough and Charge. This is an aggressive card. I don't think it really goes in what we're doing. 4 for a 3/2. I mean, sure, you can use it kind of as removal maybe, but we are kind of covered with 2 good removal spells so far, and then 5 for a 5/1 with Ward. So it trades really well into bigger things, but is this what we want to be doing for 5? I don't think so. I'm probably going to take Cast Out. I'm not sure if it's great, but I'm going to go with it. Alright, we have some cards I haven't seen yet. We have Nibbin Bay Cutthroat, +2/+0 while there are no enemy creatures in this lane. Oh, you know what? We did see that. One of our opponents played that against us. Again, this is super conditional. 1 for a 1/1 isn't bad. We don't really have any turn 1 plays. I don't think that's probably going to be an issue in this draft format. We have a Mystic Dragon, which we already had one of, which I honestly think might just be great. And then we have Circle Initiate, a Nord, a 2/2, Prophecy, Beast Form. Oh my god. This has Prophecy, and it can change into a werewolf when a rune is destroyed. You may play this for free when drawn from a rune loss, and it gets +2/+1. So you can play it, and then it becomes a 4/3 for 2, and it has Prophecy, and our 2-drop spot is looking a little weak. My hunch is to take another Mystic Dragon, but I kind of think we don't want to be short on 2-drops, and this seems like it could be a quality one. Yeah. Alright, speaking of 2-drops, we have Evermore Steward, 1/1 with Guard and Ward. That seems great, right? Because it blocks at least 2 attackers on turn 2. Loot, +1/+2, the wielder is immune to silence. That seems okay. Probably not interested in playing items too much if I can just play higher value stuff. Royal Sage we played once and got great value out of it. At the very least, it's a 4/4. At best, we can give some of our creatures RNG goodness. So I think we only have 1 4-drop. I think we'll take another one. This does seem like a really quality 2-drop pick, to be honest. But I don't know what else we'll get in terms of 4-drops. I mean, probably I would rather have another Mystic Dragon over this, just based on how I perceive the value to be. But we're offered a second one of these and passed it up. So what are the odds that we'll be offered a third one? So in the interest of rounding out our curve a bit, I think we take Royal Sage. Okay, Midnight Snack. We played that extensively in our Alduin's Apocalypse deck. We don't have a ton of dragon synergy, but just the fact that this has Prophecy and Guard, I think is an excellent 2-drop. This for 2/3, like, even though it has an extra point of toughness, I think all of what this card does, like, again, if a card does something, it's probably better than a card that does nothing. And then Dormant Centurion. Dormant Centurion can't attack unless you play an action this turn. We have 4 actions out of what are going to be 30 cards in our deck. If we take no other actions, 3-5 is great, but it's so conditional it's probably just shit. So we'll take Midnight Snack because that seems awesome. Oh my god, we did it. We did it. Another Mystic Dragon. I mean, I don't even know if that's good compared to this. Conjuration Scholar. Summon a 5-5 Frost Atronach with guard. Huh. Well, isn't this interesting? Because I think Mystic Dragon is a great take. I really do. However, we have Conjuration Tutor. And here's where I was talking about, don't just take one card if it relies on another card. That being said, if we somehow do get some synergy between Conjuration Tutor and Conjuration Scholar, we may just be able to blow our enemies out with, huge guard creatures. And we only have one other 6-drop. So, is it reasonable to take what I think is probably a pretty good 6-drop that has some synergy over maybe a really good 4-drop? 5-4-3? Maybe we'll wheel another Mystic Dragon? Sure. Alright, well, I don't even need to look at this card or this card to know that we're taking Lightning Bolt here. It may not be the best pick, but it's the card I'm taking. Steel Scimitar, item +2/+2, Greybeard Mentor, Nord. A Greybeard? That's fucking badass, honestly. Do we just take the Greybeard? Summon, draw a random shout from your deck. Well, we have no shout, so these two cards are useless. These are bottom of the barrel, terrible cards in this deck. Lightning Bolt, on the other hand, is awesome. So we passed on a 4-drop last pick, and we got a Lightning Bolt. I'd say we're just winning. Okay. Alright, revealing the unseen. Put 2 random actions into your hand. Come on now. Throne aligned. This is a 2-for-1. Okay, so here's the thing about this card versus that other 2-drop that was like, look at 3 random cards or something and then take one. That's a 1-for-1 and a tempo loss. In an action deck, like if you build a deck just with actions, like we saw an opponent play a deck where like creatures did stuff when you cast actions and all this other stuff. In a deck like that, this gives you 3 actions that your creatures can, actually do stuff with. And so I could see how even an RNG card like this, which I normally would consider to be pretty weak, might be super great because every time you play an action, your creatures do cool shit. Also, this artwork is totally baller. So that's another thing to consider, I think, when you're taking cards, how baller the artwork is. I said it here first. Dre's Tormentor, Dark Elf, 3/4. When an enemy creature becomes shackled, deal 3 damage to it. We only have one other shackle ability with Dwarven Sphere. Shackle an enemy creature. Or we could take this, Throne Aligned Guard, 3/3, Summon Shackle the Wielder. So this is the thing. I've talked about how I don't really like items all that much. That being said, giving something 3/3 and guard could just be a way for us to get, a 2 or 3-for-1 on enemy creatures. Yeah, if they have a removal for it, that sucks. But we do have some, equipment synergy, and by some I mean we have one piece of equipment synergy. So. And we definitely want more than 5 2-drops. I think we probably want like 7 or 8 of these. This would be another one, and then we can kind of start to fill out the rest of our curve depending. I wouldn't be opposed to taking a 1-drop somewhere. I just haven't found one I'm in love with. So I think we'd probably take this. And let's compare these two real fast without spending too much more time on this pick. For 2, you get 3/3 and guard. For 4, you get 3/4 and guard. Now, I get that this has an ability, but we only have one other card that plays off of it. So, for 2 less mana, we are really only sacrificing 1 toughness for the effect that we're getting from either one of these cards, right? So, this seems to be the stronger pick, just considering the cost of the card. And it rounds out our curve nicely. Okay, so Shrieking Harpy, a card that we've already seen, a card that I think is really good. It has Prophecy, it shackles a creature, it's a tempo play. I wouldn't be surprised if this was just constructed playable in general, because I think that it's pretty good. Slaughterfish spawning. Summon a Slaughterfish in each lane. I don't know what that means. They're 1/1s, and they get +2/+0 at the start of your turn. So you start with 1/1s in each lane, and then they go to 2/1, and then 5/1, and then 7/1, and all the odd numbers to infinity. And then Raiding Party, which an enemy used against us, and I thought was excellent. It's 3 to put 2 of those free 1/1 charge guys into your hand. That being said, again, we're kind of a tempo mid-range deck here, right? We're really trying to curve out. Midnight Snack, we had Horseman, we have some removal on turn 3, we have some powerful turn 4 creature plays, we have some powerful turn 5, 6, and 7 creature plays. I think that this is an aggressive card, this is an aggressive card, and this is a tempo controlled mid-range, whatever you want to call it. Plus, getting another 2-drop, that's a really quality 2-drop, is awesome. So, give a creature ward, which I think is great, honestly. That ward mechanic in this game might just be awesome. Another Mystic Dragon. This is like the 9th opportunity we've had to take a Mystic Dragon, and I don't think we can pass it up again, because it would really give us... We would have Lightning Bolt, Mystic Dragon, Royal Sage. Like, talk about some powerhouse 4-drops. And by powerhouse 4-drops, I mean, look at that Lightning Bolt we have here. Damn. Or Fortress Watchman, which is a 5/4 with guard. And honestly, that's not bad. I mean, a 5/4 can prevent a lot of damage, right? I mean, that being said, we do have... Shrieking Harpy, Dwarven Sphere, Crushing Blow, Cast Out, Reverberating Strike. Like, we have a lot of ways to control the board. Maybe we do just want to take the 4-drop to fill out our curve. And again, just getting this for free. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 7 prophecies. This would make 8. Like, almost a third of our deck would be prophecies, just to get free creatures against free cards against the AI. Yeah, we're doing it. Alright, Unrelenting Force. Unsummon an enemy creature with power 3 or less. Okay, so we have another unsummon effect. It doesn't have prophecy. This is just unsummon a creature. It has no condition whatsoever. This is unsummon an enemy creature with power 3 or less. So that enemy thing is an interesting qualification, right? Because if this is just any creature, and we have enter the battlefield effects, which we do, it's a really popular play in card games to bounce your own creature if you get value from playing it again. Case in point, this Conjuration Tutor, which probably has the most valuable enter the battlefield effect in our deck right now. If we have this and we shuffle in 3 big fat dudes, and then we unsummon it the next turn and cast it again, we just have 6, 7 cost 8/8s that our opponent probably has no answer to, based on, this just being a draft format. I mean, I can't imagine that the AI is playing super great decks, because the storyline, even the decks at the end of the story, which were way more competitive, we did struggle a bit in 1 or 2 matches, but generally speaking, it wasn't, insurmountable. So I think we pass on this and probably take the 3-drop, because we really need something else in the 3 curve. And since we already have an effect like this without a condition, just having something that we can use kind of as removal on turn 3, plus put a body on board, seems nice. If you have a... What is that? Is that like... colorless. Okay, so if you have a colorless card in play, silence another creature. So again, this is kind of super conditional. Whenever you see something on a card that's like if, you need to think long and hard about whether or not you can use it. We do have 1, 2, 3 colorless cards. 3 out of potentially 30. Or we take something to round out the top end of our curve. We've played this before in the main story. We got great value out of it. A 4/4 body isn't tremendous on turn 8, but again, just being able to, control the board, that's what we want to be doing. That's what I want to be doing. Our Shield Breaker, +2/+2, summon an enemy creature, loses guard. That also seems pretty good for 3. It has 2 effects. It buffs a creature But if an enemy doesn't have guard and you just have this in your hand, then what do I always say? Kind of dead card, right? So we'll take the Shocking Wamisu. I think it's probably the pick we want to be at here. And that's probably all we're going to take 7 or above, because I just can't see us wanting to go that high on our curve in this type of format. Stone Throw. Destroy an enemy creature if you have a creature with higher power. So let's look at our power. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2... Oh, wow. Maybe we should put some power in this deck. 2, 4, 4, 4, 1. Oh, boy. This is removal, right? So let's think about our removal. We have Cast Out, kind of removal. We'll count it. Kind of half. Crushing Blow. Reverberating Strike, Lightning Bolt. It's kind of like plus Shocking Wamisu, right? It's kind of like 4.5 pieces of removal already in a deck of 30. That seems fine. I think we'll probably take the card on curve that seems the strongest. All I can say is we're doing it. Let's review this card because we haven't covered it yet. Berserker of the Pale. He's a Nord. They're all so fucking angry all the time. Do you see him like... It's been like at least 4 or 5 days since he got laid, judging by this picture. At least. Minimum. When you summon another creature with 5 power or more, give it +1/+1 in Breakthrough. So that's terrible. Do we have anything in this deck with 5 power or more? 1. If we get this, and then if we get those, right? How conditional? What did I say? We're doing it. So we have a couple options here. The one that stands out to me immediately is Clockwork Dragon. And the reason I say that, based on not reading or knowing what any of these 3 cards do, is that I see we have a hole in the 5-drop spot that we need to fill, and this does that. So this is Sentinel Battlemage's item +4/+0 and Ward. But that's crazy because this is Reach, and we don't really have... Actually, we do. We have... Oh no, this is to a creature. But we do have 8 points of Reach in Lightning Bolt plus Savage Ogre. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine, right? 2 Lightning Bolts and Savage Ogre for Reach. This helps trade into a big fat creature, don't get me wrong. Let's see what this is before we go to the card that I most likely will pick again, just for curve considerations. Hit and Run, action. Draw 5 cards, discard your hand at the end of the turn. How? Like, again, this seems good because you get to draw 5 cards. Like, if this just was draw 5 cards, I would take this card so fast. You don't understand. If it was Hit and Run or Lightning Bolt and Hit and Run was draw 5 cards, I would never take Lightning Bolt in my life. That's how much Hit and Run seems great. But you have to discard your hand. So it's like on turn 4 you can't cast this. Even on turn 8 you draw, like, let's just say you top deck this on turn 8 into an empty hand. You draw 5 cards. And then you have 4 mana to play something. 5 out of 5 things. So the most this deck would be able to do is play 2 things. I mean, I guess that's not terrible, but it's not great. So I think this is probably, I don't know, pretty shit. Clockwork Dragon. 4/4 for 5, not great. Summon, if Clockwork Dragon is in the left lane, +2/+0 in Drain. Otherwise, +0/+2 in Guard. Wow. So this is super versatile because, again, you either get a 6/4 with Drain or a 0 or a 4/6 with Guard. And so it depends on the board state. If your opponent has a ton of creatures on the left and you need to be defensive, you can play defensive. If you're either ahead or you have a free play on turn 5 and you just can go to Lifelink Town, Drain Town. Drain Town doesn't really sound great. I'll take it. I think it's interesting. So we have a Quicksilver Crossbow, which we saw once before. The wielder deals 1 damage. That's fine. Ping effects are okay. None of these creatures I think that works really well with. Bankerai Butcher, Orc. Summon, +2/+2 if you have another Orc. So for 4, you can get a 6/5. I'm sure that there are probably some tribal Orc strategies in this game that for 4 you just get a 6/5 and overwhelm your opponent, and that's insane. Do we have any other Orcs? We have 2... We only have 2 other Orcs. So, right, like 2 out of 30% chance. Or Reflective Automaton, which has all creature types. But it's a 2/3 for 2, and I really do want another 2, and that kind of trades nice. It's like, do I want the 4/3 for 4 or the 2/3 for 2? I think I just want the 2-drop. Again, curve considerations are so important when drafting. I can't overstress that, I don't think. And we have a really, really good-looking curve. 2, 3, 4, like I said, the majority of where our cards are going to be. And then a handful between 5 and 7. Elusive Schemer. I mean, what a way to round out the 4-drop spot, right? Or Excavate. Draw an item or support from your discard pile. We only have 1 item. We have an item? What's our item? Oh, it's this. So again, you have like 1 card that this targets, or +2/+1 shackle an enemy creature. Now, normally I'm not crazy about the items, as you know. That being said, this actually I think is an excellent item because it does something. It's like that book, the other blue book that it gets +2/+0, and you draw a card. I think it does something. So if you put it on. And then the creature gets destroyed, at least it's cycled itself. So you get a card deeper into your library. It does something. This is a super tempo play, and we kind of are a super tempo deck. So do I go for another 4-drop, which I think probably is great? I mean, draw a card, shuffle a 0-cost Elusive Schemer into your deck. I mean, it's 1, right? 1 out of how many? Or do we go for another 3-drop to play with combat math and also the tempo play? Like, I think this is a control card and this is a tempo card, and we're definitely more of a tempo deck. So as much as, I mean, again, I see draw a card and I can't help myself, but I think I might pass this up in favor of this just because I don't want to be flooded with 4-drops, and this seems okay. I have to say, this is the hardest pick so far. Like, the other cards, I've had a really good idea of what I wanted to take after reviewing all the cards. I feel confident about our deck so far. I feel really confident about our deck. I think it's pretty good. I mean, I don't know if it's pretty good, honestly. I just think I'm taking cards that are okay, but I have no idea. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I need to be true to myself here. I think I need to take the Elusive Schemer. I do like that this shackles. We have 2 of those effects already. And yeah, this draws a card. Alright, so we have some rares to choose from. 3 for 2/3 immune to silence. Your unique cards cost 1 less. So I don't have any unique cards. Limit 1 per deck. They're all legendaries. There's nothing legendary here, so that's pretty bad. Bladed Alit on turn 3. At the start of your turn, it deals 2 damage to you, which seems like a pretty big drawback. It's a 5/3. So, again, this is one of those, this screams aggression, right? You play this on turn 3 and you try to kill your opponent before this card kills you. this is not an aggressive deck. I mean, it could be, maybe, but I don't really think it is. I think it's a tempo deck. Let's look at Wisp Mother. When you summon a creature that costs 2 or less, summon a copy of that creature in the other lane. Okay, so this is absolute fucking value town, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ways to trigger this so far. With 4 picks left. I mean, imagine if we just, like, Midnight Snack, right? Then we get a 2/2 guard in each lane. And God, if we have a Mystic Dragon out, then we can play that for 2. Or Clockwork Dragon. Like, we have some dragon synergy. We have 3 dragons. Okay, so we don't have some dragon synergy. We have, like, the tiniest little bit. I said I wasn't going to take anything in this slot anymore. But this is not what we want to be doing at all. Like, this is not what this deck wants to do. Another Unrelenting Force, which I didn't think was great the first time around. Battle Rage Orc, which we have 2 of. Or Morkul Gatekeeper. It's a 2/2 with Prophecy. Oh my god. Guard and summon. Give a creature +2/+0. Yeah. Alright. We have a 1. Which, again, I don't know if we necessarily want. And then 2 for 2/1 Last Gasp, put an Iron Sword into your hand. So that's a really great 2-drop. I mean, we have 8. Do we want to take something on the higher end of our curve? Do we think we need it? A 5/5 with Breakthrough for 6 is kind of eh. Whereas this could help us trade early and play with our combat math with the Iron Sword. So I kind of really like this. Alright, here we go. Cruel Fire Bloom. I already analyzed this card. I don't think it's very good. Plus we have other removal that I'd rather play. Yeah, this card can this card can get passed on here. Assassin's Bow for 3 +3/+0. Summon, give the wielder cover at the end of the turn. Okay, that's neat if you're trying to protect something, but again, I don't know that that's what we're trying to do. Like, just this giving something +3/+0, I don't know. Battlemage's Onslaught. What is this? We could fill out our 4-drop spot with another card. Put a random action, item, and creature into your hand. So RNG, kind of useless. That said, this is a 3-for-1. And if we have the opportunity to play it, just getting an action, item, and creature, like, even if they're not great, we just draw 3 cards for a 1. Right? So we basically get to Ancestral Recall for 4. This could be fun. This is kind of like the janky shit that I like talking about playing. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get with this, and then sometimes it can be fun. And that would kind of fill out our 4-drop spot nicely, right? We'd have a 7th here, so 9, 7, 7, and then a little bit on the high end, and we have some reach, we have some removal, we have some tempo. I love everything about it. So that was probably the longest draft in the history of this game, clocking in at 45 minutes.
The boss must be faced last, but you can take on the others in any order you choose. Pick an enemy to begin.
Okay. Well, our mono decks, can we assume that a mono deck is not as good as a dual color deck? I don't know if that's a reasonable assumption. It could be a reasonable assumption. Generally speaking, dual attribute decks are better than monocolor decks just because they have more options available to them. So, again, I don't know what's this. Oh yeah, let's look at the deck that we built. I think this is great. I actually have absolutely no idea. Like, are any of these cards good? For anyone watching this, I mean, feel free to comment on how well I drafted. I think that this was a pretty good draft. I have 2 lightning bolts. How could we lose a game? I don't know. All right, we'll play the mono green.
This promises to be amongst the most exciting matches the Imperial Arena has ever seen.
Spider Queen feature match. Like, what fuckery have we gotten ourselves into with this?
Creepy feeling. We're in for a spectacular show.
Okay. I do like, again, this game puts so much effort into the little, what I would consider to be, you know, the little shit, like the announcements and, you know, is this the same thing that, oh my god, okay. So we don't want 4, we don't want 4. I think we probably toss Crushing Blow, because just killing a 1/1 isn't great. They do make lethal creatures, and Crushing Blow is going to be really good for that. But we also have a lot of, like, we have a ton of 2-drops, and we didn't draw any of them. And I really want a 2-drop. Huh. Wow. So maybe I didn't draft enough 2-drops, because I have 9, which is almost a third of my deck, and you think I would have drawn at least 1. That said, this card might get ridiculous value. Like, if my opponent just has a handful of these, and we can just blow up 2 or 3 of them, like if we can make this a 2 or 3 for 1, that's great. This card in this matchup seems really bad. Yep. Alright. Alright. So how greedy do we want to be with Reverberating Strike? We could just use it now and get a 2 for 1, but we probably could do better, right? Or we could use Battle Rage Orc and trade here, and then probably eat that lethal creature, and that would also be a 2 for 1. And then we can see if we can get more utility out of Reverberating Strike later in the game. Because, again, he's going to be playing duplicates of so much stuff. Or she. I'm sorry. She. Queen. She. Like, tits. Definitely a she. Yeah.
I'm ready for anything.
So we'll attack this. And I'm not upset with that line. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Alright. They're just called Aggressive Spider. So here I do think I probably just Reverberating Strike these 2/1s. Like, what other play do I have? Casting 1 out, then I prevent 2 points of damage, but Reverberating Strike allows me to prevent 4 points of damage. Yeah. I don't know if it's right. If he has another one of these shackle things, it's really bad for us. If not, it's kind of good. Because we can trade with probably everything in this lane. And I think this is the deck that we can kind of just run out of resources. Even though he does get a free spider turn, it's kind of a cheap one. And then we might be able to go to Value Town and win. But I'm not feeling great about this. Like, oh my god. Okay. We have a ton of prophecies. Alright. And I don't know that this gets better than just hitting a 1/1, so I think we kill the lethal creature here. Yeah, like, I'm willing to just take whatever trade I can get. I mean, Elusive Schemer dies to everything, but I guess we have to play it. Okay, we'll never trigger that. Okay. Yep. Pretty bad.
Conjuration Mage never...
The reason I'm doing this over this is because this play will only prevent 1 point of damage this turn. Whereas we can play this next turn, get guards in both lanes. He needs to sacrifice lethal creatures. He's at a point where he may not have 2 shackle effects, so then we can start doing some trades. And if we can stabilize, I think we'll be okay. Plus, our prophecy game might be really strong, so... Okay. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, sure. Alright.
Don't underestimate me.
So we're going to prevent 2 points of damage here. That could be good.
Let's begin the lesson.
We're just going to attack everything first. Can we take 2 more points of damage? Like, we play a Wisp Mother, then we get to go... Circle Initiate, play 2 things... Like, Savage Ogre doesn't do anything for us right now. We could Crushing Blow something just so that it takes 1 damage off the board. I don't know that that's really important right now because, like, 6-2, we need to get another guard out, but I don't know how we're going to do that. Like, we could potentially cast out and... I'm going to do this. This could be the wrong play. Okay. Yes. Oh my god. Value Town. Sure. Okay. So, here's where we control everything, right? We go... That has served its purpose. This has served its purpose. This has probably served its purpose. This has served its purpose, and we want to be able to trigger something with... Okay. So, we go... Here's what I'm thinking. We go Circle Initiate here, we get another one here, and then we can attack and trigger both of them. And then we just, I don't want to say we don't want to overplay our hand, but I don't really think we want to overplay our hand. That could be wrong. Like, it could be right that we just really want to, at this point, try to win by doing, like, as much as we can. But I don't think that's right. So, we'll do this, trigger both of these. I don't think they have any prophecies. And then we also, now we have 4, 8, 12, 15, 20. So we have 20 on board, plus 3 with Crushing Blow, plus 5 with Savage Ogre. So she could play a bunch of guards, which would be a problem. But the great thing about guards is that if she plays guards in each lane, we can just remove them and then we're not taking more damage. So I think that this strategy of... I think we're fine. Do we want to put this here? That way, like, she can't shackle everything and it's just 2 more points of damage? And we're never going to trigger Royal Sage. So, actually, the more I think about it, the more I think we just want to play this. Like, we're never going to get to a point where she is at less life than us, and this has value. So let's just play it out. And I think we'll maybe save this for if we want to try to get double value out of Wisp Mother again. That's fine. Okay. Unless they have, you know, 3 of those. Okay, that's excellent. That's fine. I mean, it is an issue because it's... Okay. Okay. So I think we start to go for the win, right? We can't.
Let's begin the lesson.
Attack there. Attack here. 4 and 5 as 9. We can just go for the lethal victory. Alright, so our first arena game, our first arena win. This is basically the same deck we played in the story mode, so like I said, I didn't necessarily expect them to be too hard. When I played the story mode, I commented that this deck was kind of a pain in the ass to play against because all those little spiders just do annoying shit.
Each time you defeat an enemy, you will get to pick another card to add to your deck.
Well, I mean, how awesome is that? Alright, so this I already ruled out. This, we know what this does. Another Prophecy. Or Stormcloak Vanguard, 2 for 1 with charge, and then when it dies, put a 5/5 Stormcloak Battalion in my hand. And that costs 4 to play. I mean, or I take a Prophecy. And it seems like the AI doesn't care about prophecies at all. Like, I'm only 1 game in, but, I mean, those spiders just did not give a shit. They went straight for aggression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... 10 prophecies? I mean, a third of my deck is prophecies. Do I want another one? I mean, probably. I said maybe 9 2-drops wasn't enough, but that seems like enough. Plus, I like the idea of having a guard for aggressive strategies, so...
The wins you get, the greater your prize becomes.
Man, I'll tell you what, the subtitles in this arena are just not great. So...
A triumph! This is a challenger to watch.
Who do we fight next? I mean, does it matter? Do we just... I mean, I have no idea who we pick next. There are some color combinations we haven't seen before. We've seen all these color combinations. We haven't seen red-green, I don't think. Oh, we did. That was Assassins from the main story. I don't think we've seen this color combination yet. So let's see what this does. I'm picking the opponent for probably all the wrong reasons. The Life Taker. Great. Not a good sign, generally speaking, when your opponent is the Life Taker. Alright, well, we have a 2, we have a 3. That 2 isn't great. This is what I mean about items, right? Like, I would so much rather that this was a creature. And do I keep the thing I know I can play on turn 3, or do I gamble for 3 new opportunities to draw turn 2 cards? Okay. Turn 2, turn 3. Sure, I'm feeling good about this. Okay. Okay, Acolyte of Boethia and Scuttler. I'm completely fine with both of those plays. We will Midnight Snack and hopefully get a 2-for-1 here.
The longer the odds, the sweeter the victory.
Oh, okay. Well, we did get a 2-for-1. And Midnight Snack reduced. This has all creature types. Oh, that is so cool. So it's a dragon. And it's a dragon, it's an orc, it's a Dwemer, it's everything. Well, this is a problem because neither one of these things trade into that. So maybe I stall a turn with Dwarven Sphere and see if I can do something else. I don't want to 2-for-1 myself by attacking this with Dwarven Sphere and Battle Rage Orc. That's terrible.
We'll hold the line.
Okay. But I think I have to.
I'm ready for anything. Gore and glory.
We'll play this here to contend that. Oh my god. See how great that unsummon card is? I knew that that was going to be good. Alright. Alright. And now it's a full cost again because... But next turn we can play this, which is excellent. So we can trade here. I mean, not favorably, but at least we'll clear it. And then we can play this, which will trade favorably with this. So we're going to take 2 more damage, but maybe kind of run him out of resources.
Take on my clan, you take on me.
Yep. Okay.
My blade is thirsty.
Let us please Moloch with our deeds.
Okay. Alright. So we'll take this trade. And then we will also play Conjuration Tutor. Because next turn, like, we're going to take 4 damage here, which I think is fine. Because after that, we can play Conjuration Scholar and get 5/5 guards in both lane. And if all this deck does is spit out stupid little 2/2 dorks, then those 5/5 guards will probably just win the game. So... And those can we talk about how... I mean, I wish I could have paused that for a second, because how incredible is the artwork on those lava Atronachs. Alright, not... My Prophecy game, this match is pretty weak, I'm not going to lie. Alright, well, that's not great. And the reason that's not great... So I can just Lightning Bolt this and then trade here. And then also, like, Crushing Blow that and clear the whole board. Or I can just, yeah, like... Let's think about our plays. We have 7 to work with. We want to be efficient. I don't think we want to cast anything out, because just casting something out, again, like... that's fine, but if we can produce a permanent solution, I would rather that. And we have a trade here. We can kill this, and we can kill this. And it uses 4, 5, 6, 7. It's perfect. The more and more I play Lightning Bolt, and I think Crushing Blow probably 3 for 3, even though it doesn't have the Prophecy mechanic, is still just really great. Now, we could get punished for this if... Okay, if he had something with... what is it, Charge, we could have gotten really punished for that, but he didn't. So here we want to go Conjuration Scholar, but we want to draw first. Royal Sage. We are probably not going to trigger that for a very long time, if ever.
Don't underestimate me.
And we will attack.
Let's begin the lesson.
And the reason I did it in this order is because if I attacked and he somehow had an answer to this card, we would not have gotten this bonus. So I would rather play this out first, and if he has an answer to a card, maybe take out one of the guards or whatever, and as you know, force the AI to make a decision then. But I thought that was the highest percentage chance play to keep the Conjuration Tutor alive. Because at this point, that's what we want to do. We want to keep that alive. Okay. Sure. Well, again, I don't necessarily think we want to cast anything out. This is locking down this lane. How much more value do you think we'll get on Grotwood Ambusher? We can deal 1 damage to all enemy creatures in a lane. We could just kill that. And then this eats that all day. So let's... Hold on a second. What am I doing? Let's attack first.
Let's begin the lesson.
Let's begin the lesson. And the lesson is attack first, get all the information that you can. Now we actually have Royal Sage live, which I never thought in a million years would happen. So maybe instead of Mystic Dragon, we just play Royal Sage, and like if this gets a ward or something.
I see you're in need of my wisdom.
Called it. I mean, that was the luckiest thing that could possibly have happened, right? But still. Oh. Yeah. Crap. Alright, well, one way or the other, that was a really great play by our opponent. It got rid of the guy that was, providing the Atronach value. That being said, we do have the opportunity here to just win the game, so I think we're just going to try to do that. 6, and unfortunately we have to attack 2 more times, so... And that's that. So we're 2-0. We beat the Life Taker, although I understand why that is his moniker, because the aggression was real, for sure. And I'm not going to lie, I was a bit concerned there. Okay. So we have a couple options. Craglorn Scavenger. When you play or activate a support, that gains 1/1. We have no supports. That's useless. Underworld Vigilante. It's a 4/1. Charge. All enemy creatures in this lane lose cover. Huh. Or Ratway Prospector. 1 for a 1/2. Support item action +5/+5 after Ratway Prospector attacks. Give her cover. Do we need a 1-drop? 1 for a 1/2. That always will be a 1/2 because we can never fulfill the treasure hunt requirements of that card. Or do we take another 5-drop, which is not unreasonable. We only have 2, so we could definitely take something on the higher end of the curve. It's charge. All enemy creatures in this lane lose cover. So it gives us a bit more reach. And it also could serve as a removal spell for 5. Like if our opponent puts something really good in the other lane where creatures have cover, I can just do that. And if they have multiple creatures there and I have multiple creatures in that lane, then it would enable me to trade with multiple creatures. I think Underworld Vigilante is probably the pick here. Again, I'm not opposed to taking something a little bit higher on the curve. Our low end is just beautiful, right? 9, 8, 7. Can we get better? All right.
The challenger triumphs. What challenge awaits next? Let's find out.
Shall we? So we did one on either side. It's all classes. I mean, there's not a single class that is not covered at this point. What do we want to face the most? The last time we played this class, it was Swims at Night in the story mode, and I thought that he was weak. I'm not saying that this is a weak class. I'm saying that my first experience was good, and let's get another win. I'd like to get another win and get another card. I don't know how many I expect to win. It might be that they get harder as we go. But, I mean, hey, 2 wins is pretty good. Let's play the Argonian.
Has built some rudimentary defenses. Let's see if it works.
You arrive in the arena first and hastily set up some defenses. Okay. Well, again, I don't think we want any of these. We don't have the ring effect to help us get this stuff faster. And I really think we want to try to find our 2-drop cards. And we did. And we have a lightning bolt. 2, 3, 3, 4. And this is 0, 2 with guard. But it costs nothing, so wherever they play something, we can do it. Okay. Alright, it's a vanilla 2-2, sure. They're going to get 2 points of damage on us, because I really don't think we want to use the makeshift defenses yet. This could be something like we need to save it for, you know, maybe they play a big creature like a 5-5 or something we don't have an answer to. Then we'll definitely want to use this so that we can get value. Oh, okay. That 0-cost card. Man, that seems so good. Let's play a guard over here now. I don't see a reason why not to. And if he has another one of those 0-cost things, at least we would be able to trade, so. Alright, we'll attack for 2. And then we can put a guard in the other lane to protect against any shenanigans over here. Sure. And this is a situation where I don't really think you ever play this card without having a reason, because it's just such a huge tempo play that you probably always want to get value out of it. So I'm not going to play it just because I have the ability to. I'd rather not use all my available mana and just pass the turn. Yeah, like this. What I say about a 5-5 2 seconds ago in this video. We don't really have an answer to that. We could go dragon, and then he would kind of get a 2-for-1. We don't have another play on 5. We could go Dwarven Sphere and Shrieking Harpy, but they both have a shackle effect, and again, we only have one thing to shackle, so
Stand fast.
Seems pretty bad. So I think we just do this, because if we can get ahead on life, it might get to a point where it doesn't really matter what he does. We just have so much time. And if he somehow can remove this and wants to take this trade, then at least it still kills it, and we clear the board, so. Alright.
The Restoration Mage can never be counted out.
Okay. So we have a couple ways we could do this. We could either lightning bolt this and then take this trade, which is fine. It would clear everything and we would have 2 left, but then we could play this to make it a 1-1 with guard, or a 1-3 with or a 1-3. In hindsight, this pick doesn't seem really great. Note to self for future drafts: Assembled Sentry doesn't seem really great. Especially since I didn't take any other factotums. I actually wasn't offered any other factotums, so. Or what we could do is we could do this, take a favorable, lock it down. That way then we could do it again. Sure. It's not super mana efficient, but it also... I mean, or we just do this and offer the 5-5 trade and keep the 6-1 alive. Yeah, actually, I'm okay with that. The only problem with this play is that if my opponent has an answer to this 5-5 guard, then he just gets to kind of get a really nice trade here, and then I have to do this, and I'm not in love with that, but I don't... Okay, so he doesn't have an answer to this per se, but he does have...
Come out where I can see you.
Okay. 5-5 with breakthrough, sure. So at this point, maybe we just lightning bolt that. We have an answer to this. We can shackle it one way or the other. And we have enough to lightning bolt this and also shackle this. Let's attack first and see what happens. Yeah, since we didn't take this trade, we kind of have to bolt it now. Otherwise, he just gets to go crazy over here in this lane. So, I'm okay with that. And then the question is, do we want to shackle this here? Because if we shackle this here, it's not strong enough to contend with it. So then we basically just give up this creature. Whereas we're at so much life that even if he hits us after we shackle him this turn, it kind of doesn't matter. And we can just continue to push 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. Put him on a 2-turn clock over here. Okay. Again, I could be playing this wrong. Maybe we always want to be contesting enemy creatures, but we have a shackle this turn, a shackle next turn. We have some RNG that we might just, maybe we roll something stupid high, and it just helps us, you know, close out the game. I don't know. And we also have the makeshift defenses that we can always put over here. Okay. So normally I would draw first, right? So that will influence what we do. So Battlemage's Onslaught. Put a random action, item, and creature into your hand. We're going to 3 for 1. Let's do it. Give a creature an extra attack this turn. +3/+3, and Prophecy, summon, draw a card. So that was a super low roll creature, but I think at least a good roll action, because with this action, we can just win. So we're going to try to do that. So we'll attack first, and if he has a response to this creature, then that will change our play. So we don't want to cast this spell first, because if we attack first and there's a response and it somehow kills this or prevents it from attacking again, we've used the rest of our turn on something that doesn't work. Otherwise, we could use our 4 mana more efficiently to cast 2 other spells. Okay, so he did not have a reaction, so now we can give this an extra turn and just close out the game. Oh, and now we get another pick.
Which will the challenger pick?
Alright, Intimidate, enemy creatures lose guard. That seems okay. It doesn't seem great. Cruel Fire Bloom. Again, I'm not in love with it. Fiery Imp, a 1/1 for 1. It would be our first 1-drop. When this attacks, deal 2 damage to your opponent. Sure, I like this card. These other ones seem pretty conditional. Again, I don't really like Cruel Fire Bloom. The RNG effect is not for me. I could be actually overlooking how good this card is, considering it's 0. Like, you do get to do 5 damage to a creature, but I don't know. I think I'd rather just have a guaranteed card that I want in my deck.
A dramatic victory!
Alright, so I suppose we'll do one more in this video, and then we'll do a part 2 to close out the first solo arena. He looks good. Plus, I don't want to have to play against Control. Is this a woman? Is this a woman that looks like a man? I feel like this might be a woman. I mean, if this is a man and this is a woman, then the designers did a poor job there. That's all I'm saying. So, maybe we play against... I mean, I had a yellow-purple deck and it was really strong. Alduin's Apocalypse. So maybe we do this to see how good the AI is in that color.
Are you ready for a bloodbath?
Longstrider the Victorious. They're all the Victorious, right? I mean, isn't that just intimidating going in?
Extra power for everyone.
Wait a minute. Isn't this supposed to be yellow-purple? Did something's wrong here. Oh wait, surging with extra power, so we can do something a turn sooner. I still think we redraw stuff that's not 2-drops. Alright, well, that didn't work out great, but this card again, we haven't seen the effect of it yet, but still.
Let my aim be true. Let my aim be true.
So this is, this is hilarious, right? Because you have AI players. So this card has an enter the battlefield effect, an ETB effect, right? Summon +1/+1 if you have an action in your hand. So a human player would never play these 2 cards if they had no actions in their hand. Or at least most likely they wouldn't play out 2 on turn 1. Like, this isn't, I don't think, that big a threat that they need to, but maybe I could be wrong. I'm going to attack, and then I'm going to take a favorable trade on one of these. And that is going to kill this, which stinks. Because this does 3 damage a turn if it's left uncontested. Again, for a 1-drop is good. I just played a 1-drop and got in 3 damage. That's pretty good. Yeah, we expected that. Okay. So a guard creature, which we don't have a way to really deal with. I mean, we could... The question is, how ahead do we think we can get? If we lightning bolt this and trade here, then what? Right? I mean, then we could go circle initiate next turn and, I don't know, maybe something else? We don't want to go face here because that will break a rune, and we really want to save that for when we play this so we can get the bonus off it. Because just playing this as a 2/2 doesn't seem great. Alright, all things considered, I like this play. Let's take this trade, pass the turn. Okay. Right, win more card. In the very first video I created, before I had ever played, the first time I had ever played this game, I got this card and I said, okay, this card is a tempo loss, because right now I'm about to do this, right?
Ready to join the circle. My destiny is fulfilled.
So, I now have a 5/4 power on board and a 4/3 power on board, and my opponent just took a turn off. Now, I understand that they may have stuff in their hand that, synergizes well with all this, but next turn I'm going to play Conjuration Tutor, and we're just going to... Alright, in action.
Tell me your injuries.
Okay. It's going to be a 1/4. Alright. Okay. So, this is the type of deck that may actually get some value out of having that card. Now, I'm going to put this here, and I know it's going to be, actually, wait a minute, do we just want to, hold on a second. If you play 2 actions, draw a card. So if he draws a card next turn, and then 2 out of his 3 cards are actions, he gets to draw an extra card. So, how risky do we want to be? The risky play is to play Conjuration Tutor, although at this point, because of our board presence, it may not matter. Or we could Crushing Blow, completely take away his ability to draw, her ability, our opponent's ability to draw additional cards, and then just play this out, which doesn't really seem great. I don't love that line, honestly. I don't want my opponent drawing cards, but I think if we play this and we shuffle 3 of them into our deck, we have a 10% chance of drawing one.
The Conjuration Mage never stands alone.
Tell me where it is.
Hands off my wares.
Okay. So now, do they have 2 actions?
Your orders.
That's 1.
Your orders. Your orders.
No. Okay. Our gamble paid off, and we just top-decked one of these Atronachs. How huge is that? So, we're going to get one in each lane. So, I think what we do is we... Again, I think we want to cast it first. And the reason I say that is because if we attack, this is yellow. So, and this is an action deck. So, odds are they... this is yellow and blue. So odds are they have both Piercing Javelin and Lightning Bolt in their deck. And if we hit one of them off of this card, and they destroy this, we lose our ability to create 2 of these. So if we create 2 of these, and then they get a Lightning Bolt and they kill this, at least we have 2 of these out instead of 1. And if they get a Javelin and they kill this, same story. And if they get a Javelin and they kill one of these, this lives. So this has to be the play. I can't see another reason. I can't see any other way to play this.
Perhaps we need to adjust our methods.
Huh. Alright. Well, I mean, it doesn't remove this, so I'm okay with that.
Let's begin the lesson.
I mean, and now we pass, and how does our opponent win at this point? I don't know. Maybe they have... what is that? Draw a copy of a random creature from your opponent's deck? That's crafty, for one. I mean, you get a card. Okay, you gain 5 health. Shackle that, sure. You're just trading all of them into that. He did draw a card off of this, so he got there. 8, 12, 15, plus I have Crushing Blow, but I don't think it matters because we can just not even worry about that. We can just do this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't believe we top-decked one of those. Look at that artwork. Another 0 cost. It's funny how, in the very first video I talked about how powerful 0 cost cards are, and I have yet to take one. Equip a Steel Dagger to a random friendly creature in each lane. And I think the reason I've yet to take one is because I realize that the reason it costs 0 is because there's kind of some gimmick about it. This card could be amazing, right? But in order for it to be amazing, you need to have a creature in each lane. And if you don't, this card is kind of bad. I mean, it's totally bad. It's terrible. So we could take another 1, +2/+0 while there are no enemy creatures in this lane. Or we could take Ravenous Crocodile, which is summon, you must deal 2 damage to a friendly creature. So, I mean, even if you damage yourself, it's a 3/2 for 2, and it's another 2-drop, which I don't really hate having. And I just don't think... I think most of the time this is just going to be a 1/1, and just putting a 1/1 out there is pretty bad. Like, having a 1-drop doesn't seem as good as just sacrificing the turn 1 play and having something stronger. Although I have to say, all 3 of these seem kind of weak compared to our deck so far. Maybe we just drafted a pretty good deck. I don't know. I'm taking the Croc.
A challenger triumphs. What challenge awaits next? Let's find out.
We have 4 wins. This is challenging. It's not... I mean, I don't know. It seems like maybe we've been handling our opponents fairly well. The mono-green spider nonsense was probably the most annoying thing that we've played against so far. thoughts on Arena. I'm just going to cut the video off here in a second, but I really like the draft. I love the draft format. I know I probably took way too long on it. You were all, I'm sure, very bored. If you made it this far, I'm sure you were bored to tears during the draft. But I think analyzing the cards is important because we haven't really struggled in a game so far, and if I had drafted spontaneously or without considering the strength of all the cards, I don't think we would be in as good a position as we are now. So thank you for watching part 1 of my first ever Elder Scrolls Legends solo arena draft, and please join me for, I'm going to assume, what will be an epic conclusion, and maybe we could even win a couple more games. I don't expect to win them all, but if we can even win a few more, that'd be great. Thanks again. Take care.